Okay? He
Right.
takes the chart and he puts upside down. That is because he believes in what we call the, we say there are two types of chakras. Okay? One is called the Skanda chakra, and the other one is called the Ganapati chakra. This is used in dasha systems like Kala chakra dasha. That's when it's most prominently used. But the idea is that we have a chakra which is going forward, all right? What word we use that, which we call vritti, regular parivritti chakra. And then we have this viparit chakra, all right, that Ketu is responsible for. And now what is happening is here is in Jyotish, especially when we learn Jaimini, we learn that Shani has this power to make everything go forward,
Right.
Shani is like Brahma. He says, Acha, everything shall be moving forward. Deko, look, Beto, everything will go forward. Step by step, like the elephant will go boom, 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 one step at a time. All life will go forward because he only believes in progress. Brahma only believes in progress. So Shani is imitating Brahma's attitude. Ketu looks at the zodiac and he says, Acha, look, this moksha is very close to the Lagna, this 12th house. So why don't we just go backwards right away? Well, let's skip all these steps. Okay? He quickly did his analysis. Brahma says, no, only after covering 11 houses will you get to the 12th. And Ganapati says, but it's right next door. Let's go straight to the 12th. So Ketu has this reversal power. This has many meanings. On one hand, it means that Shani and Ketu are the two grahas which can decide directions in life. Okay. So who tells you direction? Guru tells you direction, yes? So that way, Shani and Ketu can act like gurus sometimes, not always. You prefer not to have either of them as your guru because they don't seem to be giving much knowledge. They just tend to show, go forward or backwards. Guru and the other grahas are more interested in studying something. Whereas Ketu and Shani, they give direction. Okay? So there's some hints as to what we do with that. Now, either way, the Ketu chakra shows the roadblocks towards moksha. So I'm going to treat Ketu as Lagna now. I'm not going to treat Lagna as Lagna. I'm going to treat Ketu as Lagna. And then I'm going to start reading the chart and then later on figure out what this chart is from the original Lagna to see what activities are enabling or disabling the mukti. Okay? And that freedom we want, that personal freedom or moksha eventually. Some would argue you need to practice moksha in this life before you get used to it in the afterlife. Okay. Now, how much freedom do you have and what is inhibiting it? Ketu also brings the in-laws, and the same Ketu chakra is relevant in examining this, your relationship with in-laws. Distinctly, in this Ketu chakra, I will give the most important principles. 2nd house, 4th house, and 11th house from Ketu are the biggest obstacles. Why? Eating is an obstacle, 2nd house. Food is an obstacle towards spirituality. 4th house, comfort, vehicles. All right? 11th house, gains and gifts are the biggest obstacles. So for this, how must you behave? You must do the opposite. Opposite 2nd house is what we call 12th house, what we call the scale. If 2nd house is weighing a lot, that 2nd house of eating and food, you must do 12th house. You should stop eating. You should fast. 12th house is the house of fasting. So the 12th house is enabling spirituality from Ketu. From Ketu, the 12th house is enabling spirituality. Whereas the 2nd house from Ketu is making your pockets very heavy or making your belly very heavy, and you cannot do mantra. All right? In this, we learn about something called kilaka. Every mantra, every spiritual practice has a kilaka. All right? A key. And it is locked. I'm sorry, it's not a key, it's a lock. So you need a key to open this lock. You have to perform utkilana of a mantra or utkilana of a spiritual practice. That utkilana can be given by the guru, but it's not just a spiritual transmission, it's also a habit. For example, the utkilana or the kilaka is supposed to sit in the navel. When you do mantra nyas, it sits in the navel. And distinctly, if you have eaten food, then the kilana automatically locks. That means that no mantra will work after eating food, because the navel is where the food will be digested. So if you eat food, then you do mantra right after, the mantra won't work. Okay. So a practice that is followed by the Brahmins is they will do their mantras in the morning and they will not eat food before that. They will go to the bathroom before doing their mantra, and at most they will drink water. That's it. To ensure that they are having constant utkilana, unlocking of their mantras. The more we practice fasting, the more we become in control of this lock which is in the navel. And this is the most primary lock in the 2nd and 12th houses. So minimum, before you do a mantra, you should not have eaten in at least the 1 hour preceding that. Minimum. Okay? Somebody who gets up in the morning, Acha, let me have my tea and coffee before I sit for japa. Forget your japa, it's not going to work. Your mantra is out. It's not going to work. All right? The Devata checked out. He said, Acha, he's putting that into his mouth. See you tomorrow. Let's try again. So that is why they say, don't eat. Fast before seeing the Devata. Fast before doing the japa. And at least if you're having this japa later in the day, you need 1 hour before that. Before the japa. Water is allowed. That's why so many people do this in the morning. Okay. So this is how KETU is teaching us how to perform the Utkilana through the 2nd and 12th house. Now the 4th and 10th house. Now the 4th and 10th house, the 4th house is, people don't notice this, but 10th house is where you work. Everybody agrees with that. That's where we say, oh, let's look at career, let's look at job. But this 4th house is where other people are working for you. So 10th house, you are working. 4th house, other people work for you. And who was your first? Who was the first person you employed in your life when you were born? Your mother.
Mother.
She is doing the biggest job for you. And that is the 4th house. The Ketu chakra teaches us, if you keep depending on others to do the work for you, you will be denied of moksha. Okay? There's only so much that your mom or another person can do for you to increase your spirituality. After some time, you have to put in the work yourself. Do you think that by employing everybody to do pujas for you, that you will get mukti? No, not at all. They will get mukti first, all right? And then you may be, all right? Now, so that's the 4th and 10th house. What is the other form of 4th and 10th house? Sitting. When you're sitting down or lying down, that's 4th house asana. 4th house asana is in Shayanasana, sleeping, distinctly. Okay? Mm-hmm. So sleeping too much is not permitted. Okay? Yoga Nidra is what people try to do to deal with this, but 10th house is actual being awake, practicing, doing something, working. You need to be vigilant, alert. Work. Alert, yes. 11th house is when you gain something. See, all these nice houses are what are bad for us, right? 11th house is a gain house. You are gaining something. How do you gain? You're gaining salary.
11th house.
Sorry?
I was about to say the same. The good houses have become the obstacle houses.
Exactly, exactly. This is, and truth be told, when you learn about these houses, you realize this is where one is sitting back and enjoying life.
Right.
Okay? And Ketu says this is not permitted. In fact, some of the other grahas will hint at that maybe this is not a good idea. Okay? So I'll talk about that from other grahas like Shukra and relationships everybody wants to hear about. So I'll mention that in a minute. And now what we're being asked is, do not be the recipient. Be the one who is sharing your skill, sharing your wealth, sharing your ability. 3rd house is the activity that we should be pursuing to counter the 11th house. Now, the yogis, they have this very interesting practice to deal with this 11th house. They use breath control. They say one way of dealing with the heaps of one's karmas, heaps, that means you've accumulated something, right? So 11th house is the accumulation. So what they do is they do pranayama. Mm-hmm. And they have certain pranayama practices which they say they can remove all the karmas, all right? Through Nadi Shodhana distinctly. So they practice Nadi Shodhana and pranayama to avoid having to have the debt of accumulating too much in their lives, okay? And so we know that these are the ways that Ketu will give us more freedom. Okay? These are the ways. These are the main ways.
Maybe it's the eighth from eighth also third house, so that is also.
There's definitely a link. Yes, there's definitely a link. But this is where you are not the taker. You are the giver. You're using your own skills and sharing your own skills, like teaching people something. Now, imagine I use houses from Shukra. Okay? Then I will say, Acha, second from Shukra, this is where somebody is feeding you in the relationship. Fourth house from Shukra, this is where your spouse is running around and working for you in the relationship. 11th house from Shukra, this is where somebody is giving you more wealth. This can be also buying you a car, buying you a washing machine, buying you a computer. This is where your partner is gifting you things. And I will also tell you, these are the biggest obstacles in a relationship, because a relationship is all about giving, not taking. And if you are expecting to be given too much, you will suffer in relationships. Okay? All right? If you're expecting that you should receive, it will also be a problem from Shukra. So maybe one should check, where are the houses from Shukra? What are the activities which are actually making you more lazy in the relationship? All right? These are these houses from Shukra. Okay. Now, these can be very good for wealth, but what value is the wealth of Shukra if you are not happy in the relationship? The wealth really that we're interested here is going to be the wealth from the Lagna, from the Arudha Lagna. So that's wealth. These people want to calculate how much their bank balance is. Then we use these houses from there. Now there are these other houses. They're also important. 7th house is the house of biggest bondage. And from Ketu, the 7th from Ketu is Rahu. So the biggest bondage is there always. Lucky is the person where no planet is joined Rahu, nothing is in 2nd from Rahu, and nothing is in 5th or 9th from Rahu, nor 7th from Rahu. I'm not talking about Rahu. I didn't mix up with Rahu Ketu here. From Rahu, 5, 9, 7, 2. If there are planets in these houses, next life we'll talk. If you have no planets in these houses, congratulations. You are a person who is free of desires, of bhoga desire, of Rahu. Because this 7th from Ketu, where Rahu is the one who is trying to cause rebirth. And this is the biggest bondage. From this we learn, the biggest bondage is actually marriage. All right? So 7th from Lagna is a big bondage house. And this is a problem and a blessing. It's peculiar. I will tell you, 7th house is the person who will kidnap you. Every father will say, yes, 7th house is the one who kidnaps my daughter, undoubtedly. Because if my daughter's getting married, that guy is going to kidnap her, right? She's going to leave and be with him all the time, not with her family. So every father will agree with me on this topic. But 7th house is the place where the main bondage is happening. And truthfully, this term kidnapping is actually elaborated a bit more into actual kidnapping. We can see actual kidnapping from the 7th house, from Lagna, because that is where you're being taken away. If your Lagna is weaker than the 7th house, you are more likely to marry. And if it's a negative 7th house, it's not marriage, it's kidnapping. But if the Lagna is very strong, you don't actually want to marry, because your Lagna is so strong that you do not like bondage. Ever heard of that statement? I'm not ready to settle down. I'm not ready to be, bound down in a relationship. That's somebody whose ego and Lagna is so huge that they cannot allow that 7th house to dominate. There are good and bad sides to both the houses. But this 7th from Ketu distinctly is a big bondage. This can completely stop your freedom.
So you mean to say if it is 5, 11, like 5th house, 11th house, so you mean the creative self will get impacted, or the fulfillment of desires will get impacted in adverse manner if we take
11th house? It can be, yes. But I'm going to explain this in a few, with more practical examples. I was just going to tell you, remember the... I'm sorry, Vanita, could you repeat that?
Yeah, my internet is unstable, I think. Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, go ahead, Visti. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, remember the example we have of Latske, the freedom fighter? She, Rahu and Shani joined? Yes?
2nd house, yeah.
And what happened to her? She went to jail. That's a major bondage. right?
Right.
Major bondage. So some people will say, therefore, Ketu is the freedom karaka, Rahu is the jail karaka. Okay? Yes.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to show a chart again from this perspective, but just a bit more. 5th and 8th house from Ketu are the wrong prayers. 5th house is the wrong prayer. What is a prayer actually? Something you wish to fulfill. You're praying for something to be fulfilled. And 8th house is the debt or loans which are stopping you. If you take a loan from somebody, that's a debt you will have to pay off either in this life or the next life. Okay? Either this or next life. And if you don't pay it off in this life, you have to come back to the next life and pay it off.
Okay.
That's the 8 from Ketu. That's stopping a person. 9th house and 6th house from Ketu can open the doors through Guru, 9th house, and Seva, 6th house. Where 9th house is telling you, don't pray for what you want. Pray for what you need. Okay? Because what you want is not always what you need. 6th house is saying, by that through Seva, you can overcome the debts. Now, for any other graha, these houses cause the reverse. What do I mean by that? That they are not obstacles, but they are blessings. But remind, I said for Shukra, it doesn't sound like much of a blessing if a person is sitting around in the relationship, okay? And benefiting, all right? Yes, some men will say, no, please ensure my second from Shukra is strong so that my wife will actually put food from the plate in my mouth. Okay, some men will say, no, this is perfectly fine. But I'll say that's actually a detriment to them in relationships because the next life they'll have to do the same to their spouse.
Right.
All right, better to have balance. Yes. And Ketu is reversing all these.
Really interesting.
And it says that in 4th, 11th are negative. Okay. Yeah. The basis for these houses are based on Argala, by the way. This is the basis for these houses.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and so we should get into some examples of showing this.
Sure.
And I've tried to show some 2 charts in which this is depicted. These are, eating doesn't necessarily have to be that you're actually having food. But the idea is a type of accumulation, right? And everything red is negative in the point here. And everything which is green or bluish, that is positive in this chart, okay? The primary houses we're interested in are these 2nd, 4th, 11th, and the ones which obstruct these. They're the most important on a daily basis. But actually, we can see all the houses.
Sure.
All right. I think we should have that small break before we start seeing some charts. What do you say?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's do that.